I looked directly at Alex, my eldest son, 26. He's dressed in a work shirt, grease under his fingernails. He looks at me like I'm a monster. He doesn't understand. He never understood what I sacrificed or what it cost. My lawyer, Mr. Harris, clears his throat. He's expensive and he knows it. He slides a thick, leather-bound binder across the polished mahogany table. "That binder is the final proof, Mr. Daniels." Harris's voice is smooth, professional. "We can demonstrate beyond any doubt that the Logos model your brother just sold was built directly from the proprietary work of my client, Miss Sarah Daniels." Harris taps a remote. The wall flickers to life. A projector beams onto the screen. Emails, complex data analytics, flowcharts. "It's all there," Harris continues, using a laser pointer, "all properly time-stamped, 2013. The same core logic, the same architecture, the same error correction protocols. He just polished it." I take a deep, steadying breath. I must remain calm. I must be the adult in the room. "Alex." My voice is firm, not pleading. "This isn't just about $5 million. That was my life's work, my legacy. The very thing I was building for you, for both of you. I just want what belongs to me." Alex clenches those grease-stained hands. His jaw is tight. But Leo, my youngest, 18, he just sits there, utterly, unnervingly calm. His hands are busy, turning an old mechanical puzzle cube. Click, clack, click. The sound echoes in the silence of the boardroom. He won't even look at me. He just stares at the puzzle in his lap. That calm, it infuriates me. He knows they're caught. He knows they stole from me. I will win this. I will get back everything that was stolen from me. And maybe, someday, when this is over, my sons will finally understand I did this all for them. He looks at me with that same hatred from 10 years ago. The day it all fell apart. The day he decided I was the villain. He never knew the truth. He just saw the back of my head as I walked away. He never saw the gun to it. I wasn't a gambler. I wasn't unstable. I was good at my job. Too good. I was a senior analyst at a national logistics firm, Veridian Dynamics. I was supposed to be optimizing shipping routes, a simple efficiency task. Instead, I found a ghost. I was in my home office late. The kids were asleep. Alex had a physics test. Leo. I was running a diagnostic I'd built myself, checking cross-platform manifests. A red flag popped up. A duplicate entry, then another, and another. It wasn't just a glitch. It was a pattern, an algorithm. Someone wasn't just losing cargo. They were creating lost cargo, ghost shipments. They'd bill the insurance, bill the client, and the lost cargo would vanish, rerouted to an offshore warehouse. Millions of dollars siphoned off month after month, hidden inside standard deviations. My boss, Mark Reynolds, wasn't just inefficient. He was a thief. He was bleeding the company dry. And I, Sarah Daniels, had just found the proof on my server. I remember printing the evidence, my hands shaking. I was going to be a hero. I was going to get that promotion. The next morning, I walked into Mark's office. "Mark, I need you to look at this. I think I found a massive vulnerability in the system." He didn't even look at my files. He just smiled. "You should have stayed in your lane, Sarah." My blood ran cold.
What did you say? I said you should have stayed in your lane. You're a sharp analyst, Sarah. The sharpest. Which is why I knew you'd find it eventually. I just needed to know when. He tapped on his keyboard. I run a query every hour, he said conversationally. It flags anyone who accesses the specific files you accessed last night. You're the first. I'm going to the board, I whispered, backing away. I just came from the board, he said. Leaning back in his chair, I forwarded your analysis to them. It's brilliant, really. Except, in my version, the one I've had sitting in escrow for 6 months, you're the one moving the money. Your name is on all the transfers, your access codes, your digital signature. He had me. He'd built the entire system to frame whoever found it. You're fired, Sarah. Security is waiting outside, and if you're not out of this city by morning, I'm calling the police. I'll make sure the press knows. Desperate single mom embezzles millions. Good luck explaining this to your kids from a jail cell. I ran home, my world collapsing. He had my name, my passwords. He had my life. I burst into the hallway of our small apartment. Alex was trying to get Leo to focus on homework. Pack a bag. Both of you. We have to go. Now. What? Mom, what's wrong? You're scaring me. There's no time. Just move. Get your coats. I was throwing clothes into a duffel bag when my phone buzzed. A text. An unknown number. It was a photo. Grainy. A long lens shot of Alex walking home from school. I recognized the corner bodega. It was taken today. Under it, one line. We see you. Leave the kids. Don't be stupid. I froze. The room tilted. They weren't just threatening me. They were watching my children. I couldn't take them. They would have used them against me. They would have hurt them. My only choice was to run, to disappear, find new proof, and come back. I grabbed Alex by the shoulders. My voice dropped, urgent, terrified. Change of plan. I have to go. Alone. His face crumpled. What? You're leaving us? Again? Like Dad? No. This isn't like that. This isn't like before. You don't understand. There are dangerous people. I need you to be the man of the house. Just for a little while. Your Uncle Frank is coming. I've wired him money. He'll be here tomorrow. I promise. You're lying. You're scaring me. You're just running away. I didn't have time to argue. I grabbed my old company laptop from my desk, the one with all the original data files, the real files, before Mark framed me. I shoved it into Alex's arms. Everything I am. Everything I worked for. The truth. It's in here. Protect this. Do not lose it. Do not let anyone see it. I will come back for it. Do you understand me, Alex? He was crying now. Angry tears. Mom, don't. Don't you dare walk out that door. I pulled my hand from his grip. I ran to Leo. He was humming, staring at the wall. I kissed his hair. He didn't flinch. I love you, I whispered. I ran out the door, into the rain. That was the last time I saw them. I sent the money. I called Frank. I swear I did, but Mark must have gotten to him first. The money never arrived. Frank never showed up. And when I finally got a burner phone and tried to call Alex 2 days later, he'd already blocked my number. 10 years is a long time to be a ghost. I changed my name. I moved between states. Arizona, Nevada, Oregon. I cleaned toilets at truck stops. I waited tables at all-night diners. My name tag said Susan. I took any cash job that wouldn't leave a paper trail. I learned to live on nothing. And all the while, he won. Mark Reynolds. I'd sit in public libraries using their computers to watch him. He took my work, the work I was doing on optimization, erased my name, and called it his own. He climbed the ladder on my back. He made speeches about corporate efficiency. He was celebrated. I watched them from afar. I tried to find them. I tried every 6 months. New phone, new number. The number you have dialed has been disconnected. I saw Alex on Facebook once. He'd given up his scholarship to MIT. I was so proud of that. He'd given it up. He was working in a forklift at a place called Gulf Coast Warehousing. My heart broke. And I saw Leo in the background of a photo, still quiet, still lost. My brilliant, broken boy. They were struggling, surviving in a rundown warehouse, and I couldn't help them. Alex blamed me. He thought I abandoned them for money when I'd abandoned them to save their lives. He never knew. I was just starting to feel human again. I had a small apartment in Chicago, working as a freelance consultant under my new name. Just starting to build a case against Mark, piece by agonizing piece. And then last Tuesday, I saw it. I was drinking coffee, scrolling through a financial news feed. A headline: Logistics Miracle. Autistic teen sells Logos model to tech giant for $5 million. My breath caught. I clicked. A video played. A local news anchor, smiling. An 18-year-old wonderkind, Leo Daniels, who developed a revolutionary algorithm that predicts shipping errors and optimizes fleet management. The video cut to a shaky, handheld shot inside that same dilapidated warehouse. Leo was there, staring at a screen. And Alex, older, harder, standing protectively behind him. My heart swelled. He did it. My brilliant boy. He used my work. He finished it. But then, I zoomed in. I saw the interface on Leo's screen, the code structure, the data maps. My blood ran cold. He didn't just finish my work. He stole it. The files from 2013, the ones I told Alex to protect. After everything, after I trusted him, my own son betrayed me. He'd used my intellect, my name, my sacrifice, and sold it. He'd become Mark. I picked up my phone. My hands were shaking, but this time it wasn't fear. It was rage. Hello, I need to speak to your best litigation attorney. My name is Sarah Daniels, and I'd like to report a theft. Harris advised against it. He said, never engage with the opposing party directly, Sarah. Let us handle it. But he didn't understand. These weren't just the opposing party. They were my children. I had to try. I had to give Alex one last chance to do the right thing, to see reason before I brought the full weight of the law down on him. I had to look my son in the eye and see if there was any trace of the boy I left behind, the boy I told to be the man of the house. I drove to the address listed on the incorporation papers, Gulf Coast Warehousing. It was even worse than the pictures I'd seen online. A sprawling, rusted metal carcass squatting in a forgotten industrial park. The air smelled of diesel, swamp water, and something acrid like old chemicals. It was a place of failure. A place I had clearly, though unintentionally, doomed them to. My rental car, a clean silver sedan, looked absurdly out of place in the gravel lot, like a diamond in a dumpster. I stepped out, my heels clicking on the broken concrete. I walked into the cavernous, poorly lit space. The high ceiling was lost in shadow, and the sound of a distant forklift echoed like a warning.
I saw him across the main bay. Alex. He wasn't 16 anymore. He was 26, but he looked 40. He was arguing with the driver, pointing angrily at a clipboard, his shoulders slumped with the weariness I knew deep down I had caused. He was wearing the same kind of defeated expression his father used to wear. He saw me. His face didn't register recognition at first, just annoyance at a stranger in a business suit interrupting his day. Then it shifted. His eyes widened. It went from confusion to disbelief to a cold, hard anger that stopped my heart. "Mom?" He didn't say it. He spat it. The word hung in the dusty air between us, an accusation. The driver beside him, sensing the storm, quickly muttered an excuse about a manifest and vanished into the towering stacks of pallets. We were alone. "Alex," I said, trying to keep my voice soft, maternal. I walked toward him, forcing a sad, sympathetic smile, the kind I'd practice in the mirror. "I saw the news. I'm so proud of what we built." He just stared at me, his eyes raking over my expensive suit, my salon hair. The gap between our worlds was no longer just 10 years, it was 1,000,000 miles wide. "What are you doing here, Sarah?" He said, not Mom, Sarah. The word felt like a slap, a deliberate, calculated strike. It told me everything I needed to know. The bridge was gone. He had already chosen his side. He had already convicted me. "I'm here to help," I said quickly, the words I'd rehearsed in the car. "You have the algorithm, but you don't have the context. You don't have the contacts. That $5 million is nothing, Alex. It's seed money. Together, we can take this. We can go after Mark Reynolds, and we can build a $100 million company, the three of us, like it was always supposed to be. This is our chance." I was offering him an olive branch. I was offering him the world. I was offering him forgiveness for stealing from me, for not trusting me. He laughed. It was not a sound of humor. It was a short, bitter, ugly sound that scraped the concrete floor. "Together? Our legacy? There is no us, Sarah." He took a step closer, and I could smell the machine oil and sweat on him. "There is just me and Leo. We survived. We built this, not you. You were gone. You were a ghost." "Alex, you don't understand," I pleaded, my patience fracturing. "I left that laptop for you. It was my work, my research. I told you to protect it." "Your work?" he yelled, and the whole warehouse seemed to fall silent, the echoes amplifying his rage. "You mean your abandonment? You left us. You ran away with your excuses, and you left us with nothing. I should have buried that laptop in the backyard the day you left. God, I wish I had."
"That's not true," I cried, the tears coming now, hot and angry. These were not the tears of a victim, but the tears of the righteous. I was protecting you. There were dangerous men. Mark Reynolds, he threatened you. He sent me a picture of you, Alex. A picture. "Oh, stop it. Stop with the dangerous men," he shot back, mimicking my voice with cruel precision. "There was no one. We never saw anyone. There was just you and your ambition and us in your way. You left us to die, Sarah. Just admit it. Admit it for once." "I sent money," I yelled, my voice cracking. "I sent it to Frank. I called him. I told him to pick you up." "Frank? Frank never showed up. No money ever came," he roared. "We spent 6 months in a state home before I was old enough to get us out. 6 agonizing months. Do you know what that's like? Do you know what they feed you? Do you know what happens to a kid like Leo in a place like that? We ate rotten food and slept in a room with 20 other kids. Don't you dare talk to me about Frank." He was breathing hard, his face pale with a rage that was 10 years old. "You didn't protect us. You broke us." I couldn't speak. He hadn't gotten the money. He really thought. He thought I just left.
The scale of the misunderstanding, of Mark's complete and utter victory hit me like a physical blow. He had not only ruined my life, he had turned my children against me forever. He had poisoned my own son against me. Alex, you have to listen to me. It was Mark. I reached for his arm. He recoiled like I was poison, like my touch was fire. Get out. His voice was dangerously low. Please, just let me talk to Leo. Let me explain. He'll understand. You will never speak to him again, he hissed. Leo is mine. I raised him. I protected him. You don't get to come back 10 years later and claim his success. You don't get to claim anything. He pointed to the gate, his hand shaking. Get out of my warehouse, or I swear to God I'll call the police, and this time I'll tell them you're trespassing. I stood there, frozen, humiliated, destroyed. He had not only rejected my offer, he had rejected me. He had spat on my sacrifice. He truly believed I was the villain. I looked past his rigid shoulder into the small, glass-walled office in the corner. I saw Leo. He was watching. Just watching. His face a perfect blank. He saw me. He heard the yelling, and he did nothing. He just watched. Then, slowly, deliberately, he turned his chair around so his back was facing me. That was it. That was the final knife. The rejection from Alex hurt, but the silent, deliberate dismissal from Leo, that broke something inside me. I cried all the way back to my hotel. But by the time I walked through the automatic glass doors, the tears were dry. The sadness was gone. It had calcified. It had turned into something hard and cold and sharp. He had made his choice. Alex had made his choice. They had sided with their own childish, hateful fantasy over the truth. They wanted a war, they would get one. I called Mr. Harris from my room. My voice was empty of emotion. He refused the offer. He threatened to call the police. File the paperwork. File it all. Now. There was a pause on the other end. Are you certain, Sarah? This is the last step. Once we file, there's no going back. It will be public. It will be ugly. Your name, their names. File it, I repeated, and hung up the phone.
The next few months were a blur of legal maneuvering. It was a strange, inverted echo of what Mark had done to me, but this time, I was the one with the power. I wasn't the victim running in the rain. I was the client. Mr. Harris and his team were sharks. They filed the injunction. They petitioned the court to have the $5 million from the sale frozen pending the outcome of the lawsuit. I saw the press release on a financial blog, tech giant, $5 million logos deal frozen amid intellectual property dispute. I relished it. I wanted Alex to feel that panic. I wanted him to understand what it felt like to have everything ripped away, to be powerless. I hoped Mark Reynolds saw it too. I hoped it made him nervous. We moved into the discovery phase, and that's when my case went from strong to undeniable. I had spent my 10 years in exile doing more than just waiting tables. I had been digging. I had backups of my backups hidden in places Mark could never find. I flew to a storage unit in Tempe, Arizona. The air in the unit was hot and smelled like dust and old tires. Inside a box marked Christmas ornaments, under tangles of old, dead lights, I found it. My old personal hard drive, the one I'd mailed to a P.O. box before I fled, an insurance policy I'd almost forgotten I had. The chain of custody was clean. I overnighted it to Harris. His forensics team pulled the data.
And there it was. The original metadata, the source code for my route optimization algorithm, the emails to my personal account where I'd forwarded my work for safekeeping, all of it timestamped 2013. A full year before Alex even knew what a logistics model was. Harris was ecstatic. "This is it, Sarah. This is the smoking gun," he boomed over the phone. "The timestamps are clean. They're embedded in the server logs I subpoenaed from your old email provider. They can't argue with this. Their entire defense will be that Leo, an autistic child with no formal training, independently created an identical 1,000-line algorithm. No judge on earth will buy it. It's over." It was almost too easy. I had expected a fight. I had expected Alex to have something. But their legal response was weak. Their counterfilings were all procedural, desperate. They were stalling. They claimed Leo's disability made it difficult for him to be deposed. They claimed their records, including the laptop I gave them, were conveniently destroyed in a warehouse fire 5 years ago. Alex's story, always so dramatic, so full of lies. A fire? Really? It was insulting. "A fire, Sarah?" Harris laughed over the phone. "It's pathetic. They're desperate. They have nothing. They're trying to hide the evidence, but we already have all we need. They've lost." The preliminary hearing was set. It was time. I bought a new suit, a dark, powerful navy blue. I wasn't just Sarah the victim anymore. I was Sarah Daniels, the inventor. I was going to get my name back. I was going to get my work back. And I was going to teach my son a very hard lesson about what happens when you betray the one person who gave you everything. We met for the deposition. This was it. The room was cold. The same room from my nightmares, but now it was real. Alex was there, looking broken. He hadn't slept in weeks, I could tell. The frozen funds, the legal pressure, it was working. He looked pale, angry, and terrified. Good. He should be. His lawyer was a young, earnest-looking public defender who seemed hopelessly out of his depth. He kept shuffling his one thin manila folder, his eyes darting between me, Harris, and the court reporter. And Leo. He sat beside Alex, same blank expression, same mechanical puzzle cube. Click, clack, click. That sound. It was the only sound in the room besides the lawyer shuffling paper. It was designed to unnerve me. A childish tactic. I saw it now as a nervous tick, a crutch, a sign of his weakness, his guilt. It wouldn't work. Not today.
Harris laid out the files, the thick binder. "Let's begin," he said. He presented our evidence. The 2013 files, the pristine timestamps, the forensic analysis. He laid it all out, a perfect, unassailable case. Alex's lawyer just stammered. He had no response. "Mr. Daniels," Harris pressed, "can you explain how your brother's 2024 algorithm is substantively different from Ms. Daniels' 2013 algorithm?" The public defender just shuffled his thin folder of papers. We maintain that Mr. Leo Daniels' creation was an act of independent invention." I leaned forward. I had to do it. I had to look them in the eye. "Alex," I said, my voice quiet, full of the sorrow I did feel for the boy he used to be. "It's over. Just tell the truth. Tell them you found my work on the laptop. Tell them you used it. We can settle this. Don't drag Leo through this anymore. Don't let him take the fall for this." Alex looked at me, his eyes burning with a hatred that was so deep, so pure. It was almost primal. You have no idea what you've done," he whispered. "We tried to warn you." "Warn me?" I laughed, a short, sharp sound. "Warn me about what, Alex? The truth? The truth is in that binder. The truth is you stole from me." "That's enough," Alex's lawyer said, putting a hand on his arm. "My client has nothing further to say at this time." "But he does," Harris said, pointing his pen at Leo. "Leo Daniels. It's his name on the patent. It's his name on the bank account. He is the center of this. He will be questioned." The room went silent. Alex looked at Leo. The puzzle cube stopped clicking. I watched, my heart pounding. This was the moment, the checkmate. I leaned forward, my voice soft, trying to break through whatever wall he had built. "Leo, honey, it's me. It's Mom." I tried to sound kind. I was trying. "You don't have to be afraid of Alex. He can't hurt you anymore. You can tell the truth. Just tell them what you did. Tell them you found my files. Tell them you used Mom's work." Leo slowly, very slowly, lifted his head. He looked at Alex. Alex stared back at him, then gave a tiny, imperceptible nod. Then Leo turned his head and looked at me, really looked at me for the first time in 10 years. His eyes were clear and cold. "You're right," Leo said. My breath caught. I hadn't heard his voice in a decade. It was deeper, clearer, not the mumble of a child, but the precise, clipped tone of an adult. "What?" I whispered. "I said," Leo repeated, placing the solved puzzle cube on the table with a quiet click. I felt a wave of relief so powerful, my knees almost buckled. He admitted it. It was over. I looked at Harris. Harris smiled, a wide, triumphant grin. "Well," Harris said, closing his binder with a snap, "we'll draw up the settlement papers." "And," Leo continued, his voice cutting through the room like glass, "it's a fraud detection algorithm." Harris let out a sharp, skeptical laugh. He looked at me, then back at Leo. "I'm sorry, what did you just say, son? Fraud detection? That's not what this is. This is a logistics model, route optimization. We have the code right here." He tapped the thick binder, the one that held my entire case, my entire victory. He looked at Leo like he was a child trying a desperate last-minute lie. "That's what you think it is," Leo said. His voice was steady, like a professor addressing a confused student. He wasn't looking at Harris. He was looking directly at me. "That's what you thought you were building, Mom." "You were wrong?" My blood went cold. Not a chill, An absolute paralyzing freeze. What are you talking about? I whispered.
I said, Leo repeated, placing the solved puzzle cube on the table with a quiet click. You're right. It is your work. From 2013. I felt a wave of relief so powerful my knees almost buckled. He admitted it. It was over. I looked at Harris. Harris smiled, a wide, triumphant grin. Well, Harris said, closing his binder with a snap, that settles that. We'll draw up the settlement papers. And, Leo continued, his voice cutting through the room like glass, it's a fraud detection algorithm. Harris let out that sharp laugh again. Son, I'm a lawyer. I've read the code. It's a predictive model for shipping. It finds inefficiencies. It's brilliant, but it's not. It finds anomalies, Leo interrupted. He spoke with an authority that silenced Harris instantly. You're right, Mr. Harris. It predicts shipping. It finds inefficiencies. But you and Mom, you only saw half the equation. He turned his cold, clear eyes back to me. You thought you were finding lost packages. You weren't. You were finding the pattern Mark Reynolds used to create lost packages. The room tilted. I flashed back to that night. The spreadsheets, the duplicates, the rerouted ghost shipments. I hadn't just found a vulnerability. I had found his system. I whispered, the words tasting like ash in my mouth. Yes, Leo said. You were building a tool to optimize logistics, but by doing so, you accidentally built a mirror that perfectly reflected his embezzlement scheme. You didn't just find a glitch, you found him. You were so good at your job, you built the very thing that could send him to prison, and you didn't even know it. My mind reeled. Wait, Mark's words, I said, my voice trailing off. He said, you should have stayed in your lane. He said, I forwarded your analysis. In my version, you're the one moving the money. Oh my God, a horrifying, sickening realization washed over me. He didn't just frame me, I said, looking at Alex, at Harris, at no one. He stole my work. He took my fraud detection tool and he's been using it. Not using it, Leo corrected me. He buried it. He buried you and he buried your code. He couldn't risk anyone else finding what you found. He leaned forward. But he missed one copy. The one you gave to Alex. The one you told him to protect. Alex spoke for the first time, his voice hoarse. The fire. The warehouse fire I told your lawyer about. It wasn't a lie. I looked at him, confused. What are you talking about? About 5 years ago, Alex said, his eyes fixed on the table. I was struggling. We were about to lose the warehouse. I remembered the laptop. I thought, maybe I could sell your work, get us some money. I took it to a data recovery guy. He paused, swallowing. The next night, our office was firebombed. It wasn't an accident, Sarah. It was arson. They weren't trying to hurt us. They were trying to destroy that hard drive. Mark, or his people, must have had some way of tracking it, of knowing I was trying to access it. They were still cleaning up your mess, even 5 years later. But they didn't get it, Leo said, picking up his puzzle cube again. Click, clack. I'd already cloned the drive. I'd been studying it for years. I saved the clone. I let the original burn. My head was spinning. You've known this? For how long? 10 years, Leo said simply. I'm autistic, Mom. I don't process the world like you do. You see faces. I see systems. You see emotion. I see patterns.
When you left, you gave me a puzzle I've been solving for a decade.
When Alex got this warehouse job, I didn't just sit in the office, Leo explained, his words picking up speed. This warehouse, it was my laboratory. It was a real-world data set. I took your 2013 algorithm, your fraud detection tool, and I ran it against our real-time data. And I started to see the same patterns, the same ghosts, the same inefficiencies Mark was using. But I didn't just find them, Leo said. I inverted your work. You built an algorithm to find the fraud. I built one to prove it. And then I built Logos, the program I sold. Harris, finally catching up, interrupted. But the Logos model, the one they bought, is a logistics model. It optimizes routes. I've seen the patent. It's clean. Yes, Leo agreed, a faint, almost invisible smile playing on his lips. It's a fantastic logistics model. It's the cure. But it's built entirely on the data from the disease. In order to sell the Logos model, I had to present my research, my data, the 10 years of patterns I'd found. He looked at me. The tech giant that bought Logos for $5 million? Did you even look at their corporate structure, Mom? They're the new parent company of Viridian Dynamics. They bought Mark's company 3 years ago. The final piece clicked into place. My breath hitched. Oh my God, Leo, what did you do? I sold them the optimization model they wanted, Leo said, but what they paid for was the evidence. The $5 million wasn't a payout, Mom. It was a finder's fee. It was the price for 10 years of research neatly packaged, proving that the CEO of their new acquisition, Mark Reynolds, had been embezzling millions and had framed their star analyst to cover it up. The room was utterly silent. Harris was pale. He slowly, deliberately closed his binder. His entire case, my entire case, had just evaporated. No, it hadn't evaporated. It had been turned inside out. Why? I finally whispered, the word barely audible. Why do all this? The news story, this lawsuit, why not just tell me? Because, Leo said, you told Alex to protect the laptop. You didn't tell him how, and I needed you. Me? Yes, my data was good, my analysis was perfect, but I was missing the origin, the 2013 files, the proof that Mark knew about the flaw and covered it up by framing you. He pointed at Harris's binder. I needed your smoking gun. I needed you to sue us. I knew if I made a big enough splash, if I claimed your work, your pride wouldn't let you stay in the shadows. You would come and you would bring your evidence. When you filed this lawsuit, Leo said, you activated the final phase. Your lawyer subpoenaed the server logs, your timestamps, your original files. My analysis of 10 years of warehouse data combined with your original, verifiable proof, that is the case, not against us, against him.
That's not true, I cried, the tears coming now, hot and angry. These were not the tears of a victim, but the tears of the righteous. I was protecting you. There were dangerous men. Mark Reynolds, he threatened you. He sent me a picture of you, Alex. A picture. Oh, stop it. Stop with the dangerous men. He shot back, mimicking my voice with cruel precision. There was no one. We never saw anyone. There was just you and your ambition and us in your way. You left us to die, Sarah. Just admit it. Admit it for once. I sent money, I yelled, my voice cracking. I sent it to Frank. I called him. I told him to pick you up. Frank? Frank never showed up. No money ever came. He roared. We spent 6 months in a state home before I was old enough to get us out. 6 agonizing months. Do you know what that's like? Do you know what they feed you? Do you know what happens to a kid like Leo in a place like that? We ate rotten food and slept in a room with 20 other kids. Don't you dare talk to me about Frank. He was breathing hard, his face pale with a rage that was 10 years old. You didn't protect us. You broke us. I couldn't speak. He hadn't gotten the money. He really thought. He thought I just left. The scale of the misunderstanding, of Mark's complete and utter victory hit me like a physical blow. He had not only ruined my life, he had turned my children against me forever. He had poisoned my own son against me. Alex, you have to listen to me. It was Mark. I reached for his arm. He recoiled like I was poison, like my touch was fire. Get out. His voice was dangerously low. Please, just let me talk to Leo. Let me explain. He'll understand. You will never speak to him again, he hissed. Leo is mine. I raised him. I protected him. You don't get to come back 10 years later and claim his success. You don't get to claim anything. He pointed to the gate, his hand shaking. Get out of my warehouse, or I swear to God I'll call the police, and this time I'll tell them you're trespassing. I stood there, frozen, humiliated, destroyed. He had not only rejected my offer, he had rejected me. He had spat on my sacrifice. He truly believed I was the villain. I looked past his rigid shoulder into the small, glass-walled office in the corner. I saw Leo. He was watching. Just watching. His face a perfect blank. He saw me. He heard the yelling, and he did nothing. He just watched. Then, slowly, deliberately, he turned his chair around so his back was facing me. That was it. That was the final knife. The rejection from Alex hurt, but the silent, deliberate dismissal from Leo, that broke something inside me. I cried all the way back to my hotel. But by the time I walked through the automatic glass doors, the tears were dry. The sadness was gone. It had calcified. It had turned into something hard and cold and sharp. He had made his choice. Alex had made his choice. They had sided with their own childish, hateful fantasy over the truth. They wanted a war, they would get one. I called Mr. Harris from my room. My voice was empty of emotion. He refused the offer. He threatened to call the police. File the paperwork. File it all. Now. There was a pause on the other end. Are you certain, Sarah? This is the last step. Once we file, there's no going back. It will be public. It will be ugly. Your name, their names. File it, I repeated, and hung up the phone.